Today, I have the pleasure to speak with Mr. Amit Mittal, founder of BizMetric. How are you doing today?
Good, Warren, and thank you for inviting me to this podcast. Really awesome. Thank you.
That's really good. And, most people don't realize that San Francisco is actually very close to Texas, where we are. So that's actually probably a nice window, right?
There you go. Yes, we have a very close connection to San Francisco. So you see that in the background. We are a startup in Texas kind of mode, right? So why not?
I love it. I love it. So, congratulations on running an awesome business. Started, I think, back in 2011. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So we founded in 2011 out of Houston, Texas. And it's been 14 years and we have been going strong. We still feel like we are a startup, right? We have been making very good progress. And yeah, Miss, I'll tell you all about BizMetric. I'm very excited to talk about it today, Warren.
I love it. I love it. So, first question, I love, first of all, that you said we still feel like we're a startup. I think part of the mentality of running a business sometimes is still being scrappy, right? And keeping the
Yeah.
attitude that got you while you started. Is that
Ab-
right?
Absolutely. And my fundamental has been to fund it ourselves, right? So that's another thing is like we haven't really taken an investment from outside. So you got to be scrappy in that mode. You have to have every dollar saved, right? When you are building a company. And I think we have done a phenomenal job around it. We have now become a global company.
Mhm.
So, and I'll talk all about that. So, but yeah, means having that startup mentality, not only from cost standpoint, but from innovation standpoint, I would say is very, very good because it keeps us on our toes. The world is moving fast. So that
Mm,
way, from that standpoint as well. And I'll talk about some innovations we have come up with as well.
I love it. So, how'd you get into the business?
Awesome. So this has been actually my childhood dream, believe it or not. Means, when I was in school, my one of my teachers asked me, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I was motivated by some, outside of my family, of course. My family member, nobody was a businessman, but I
Oh,
was motivated and driven through somebody. So there's a champion, of course, in life you have, right? So my response to my teacher was that I want to be a businessman. I had no clue how. Then, then I kind of pursued. So my dream actually stayed with me till I was 38, because means that's when I really started BizMetric. So one thing I do tell people, and I'm very enthused by folks like you, means who have been entrepreneurs and others who I meet, because we have that fire in us, right? To do something. It might happen sooner in life. It might happen sometimes later, but you just keep that fire in yourself. That's what I say. So my dream came true when I started in 2011. So that's, I would say, my childhood dream.
I love it. Yeah, you always wanted to be a businessman. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. That's so cool. So when you made that jump to starting your own business, how did you do that and how did you know it was the right time?
Very good. So I actually was toying with the idea. I was actually itching, as they say, there is an itch, right? Every person has inside who wants to start on their own since 2008, believe it or not, right? So a couple of years I had been thinking about it. And I had been toying with different ideas. And I had been telling my wife, right, who had been always very supportive of my ideas. And then she was the one actually who said, "Are you going to start it or not?" Right? Because it's been few years and you have been thinking about it. You really want to do it. So I definitely say there's a little bit of that hesitation you always have when you are kind of moving into that mode and you think that, what this kind of uncertainty, if you can call it, right, at that point will bring to you your family. But when I saw my family step up, I'm like, oh, that's well taken care of. So I really owe it to my wife, owe it to my family who let me do this. And it's been amazing right since then. So I appreciate all of it, especially the support coming from my family.
Well, that's really cool that she was giving you the little nudge and support too as well to
Yes.
to go ahead and take the big leap. I also like that you have this attitude of thankfulness. Can you talk to me about that? I think it's really wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. So, and you did ask about the idea where I got started with this, and I was in this space, analytics space, right? So when I settled down, I'm like, okay, let me take that leap of faith. But I wanted to keep it close to say, this is my first adventure, my first venture.
Mm,
Let's not go too far, right? Let's not go too wild. So I kept it close. I started with the professional services in data and AI space, which was more of an extension of the analytical space where I came from. And there were a lot of unknowns. I can tell you that, right? There was a lot of unknowns because though I had little background into this, I was kind of stepping out of a very comfort zone kind of a mentality to chart, uncharted world and how this will happen. Uh, and during the journey, miss, and I will mention, like, my first customer, how it came by, right? The people I worked with, when you are kind of trying to navigate and people have trust in your ability, but they know that you don't really have that background, it's still
mm,
supported. That is the start of my thankfulness, right? To the people who started me, who have supported me, and you will find that's what I tell other folks who want to start on this journey is like, I mean, the support, as they say, will come from unknown quarters, right? The people
mm,
you don't know of, you people means, sometimes you think that these are your closest people, they will provide you help, but you got to travel uncharted waters, and there you
mm.
will meet people, and they will put their, uh, you know, uh, support, as well as they will put their, faith in you, right? And that is what I'm most thankful about, because you can't really, like somebody I was meeting over lunch today said, that alone you can go, you know where, how far you can go, but if you really want to go far, you got to collaborate, you got to go with people. And that's what I'm most thankful about my team, right? Who now we are about, I started on my own when we started in 2011, not knowing where I would go. And I have a global team now of 500 people, with so many leaders, the people who have done entrepreneurship themselves, reaching out and being part of the Bizmetric journey, right? There's a lot to be thankful about, Warren. That's what I would say. And I'm so blessed that I'm here.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. Wow, what amazing growth. That's so cool. I know it's really funny though. People generally want to help, right? And so as you're starting out and taking those first steps, the thing I tell everybody is like, hey, look, it's okay to ask for help because people actually want to help you. It's fun to
Yes.
help people.
Absolutely. Definitely, I would reach out for people to ask, for help. And 99% people have come back and they have said, how can we help you? Or in one shape or form, they have helped. Now, one thing I have to also say, as sitting in Houston, and this is a true fact, that means, when there was a time, right, that time was kind of passing and I had to start something, I did feel that, because, and I have to say about this country, right, United States is the right place, right? Means for people to venture out, it promotes entrepreneurship, it promotes business, right? And I was like, hey, I'm at the right tsunami place, right? Right ecosystem. And if I don't do it now, where else, right? And actually, it turned out to be very true. So I'm very thankful that this is the right place and right environment which was given to me, and I kind of landed up here somehow. And it has only done is support to me, or small business person, right, who want to start on their own.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful about that as well, because this is the perfect place for anybody coming out and coming with their ideas. There is a lot of support. There's a lot of, means how the structure is built for starting something on your own. So I'm very thankful about that too, because that enabled me quite a bit.
That's wonderful. Okay, so how did you started to acquire some business and you started to do some business. How do you know when you're going to make your first hire? When do you get to the point where you take that
Oh,
risk?
fantastic question, Warren. And I can tell you, I actually, that was the toughest time I can imagine. because sometimes you're responsible for yourself and your family, and that's how far you think. But this whole thing they talk about is we give employment to others, right? And
Mm.
I had toughest night that night before I actually employed somebody else, because I was, being responsible for somebody else, right? And it wasn't an easy task for me. I can tell you that. Maybe I've done a lot more hires, like as a manager in corporate, but you're not really thinking that far because you have a budget and you have the full corporate support. But
Mm.
here, you're going to kind of carve out that revenue, which you will enable, means you will pay somebody else on regular basis. So it was a little tough for me, but it did happen. And actually, uh, I went about, and that time my customers were looking for some kind of an onshore offshore model in software. That's a very common thing. And we did start with some of the hires back in India at that time, which actually helped me quite a bit. But I can tell you the initial hires I've done, right? They have played out to be my best leaders.
Oh,
And
really?
yes, so it has really worked out well how I went about. And though it gave me a little bit of those tough nights in the beginning, but they have been running, and they have been my head of departments, or country head. So they have really taken up the role, and they have run through the journey with me. And so I can remember exactly. It's very interesting when I go through, and some of the people I have hired in the beginning, I remember exact moment, and
Mm.
how we went about hiring them. So it's like everybody says, and I truly can testify to it, that it's a journey, and you really build the whole thing one brick at a time. And the best part of this whole thing is remembering those instances when when you are hiring, the emotions you go through. And when they came, initially we hired from some of the bigger companies. They came and joined us, and I literally have to go and ask them after a few months, hey, how, means, why did you join us? Because I didn't ask earlier, at the risk of losing them. And they said, they turned around, and it's a very funny story, because the first hire we did from one of the bigger companies, and he was sitting in a small office, and we were sitting around a round table, and there were like five of us, right? and and I asked this guy, and he's like, Amit, I'll be very, very transparent, very true to the fact that when I walked in, my heart kind of sank, because I left a big company and I joined you guys, and I don't know what I signed up for, kind of a thing. And I was I was also a little anxious to hear what he said next, because we were just five of us, and maybe I'm like, hey, hopefully he's not resigning or anything like that. But he said, next best thing is, he said, I mean, the project we have done with you, right? I've done with you in last 3 months, right? I've not done that with these large companies ever. The quality of projects you are doing, and that
Wow.
made my day. And I do tell this story to folks because I come from a product background. I used to build products before, right? Starting and in analytical space, that has helped me quite a bit. That's our culture, what we have kind of put into Bizmetric. That's what I've tried to tell the folks who work with me, or the customers. That's the difference we bring in, is the quality, right? That's our unique selling proposition in the professional services, that we build the things for you, but we build it with quality. And here is this person who is talking about a quality project we have been working on, right, in the very beginning. So that actually is what motivates me, that what gets
Mm.
me going. My biggest thing is about solving customer problems, and truly solving them. That actually excites me. So when I heard that, and that is kind of ingrained, hopefully more ingrained into the corporate or our company culture now, where people are truly motivated to innovate, right, and bring good solutions to the market. And we are small, but we do big things. That's how I say it.
I like it. I like it. I think that proves up to your point. That proves up that your culture is about quality and innovation because um, Yeah, when you hear your folks say, "Wow, we've never done anything like this before," that's super cool and very rewarding, and speaks well to what you built.
Yes, and some of our means, customers, how they've come about in this journey, Warren, right? I want to talk about that for a little bit is means and nothing surprises me anymore, right? Means on the big scale of things because when we entered, of course, we started with one customer. Everybody starts with that, and my biggest thing was to lay a foundation, strong foundation, where we have proven to that customer at least. I'm like, hey, I'll just make sure that this customer truly, like one of my client manager used to say, hey, even if they're leaving you, they should remember that what kind of work you have done for them, right? Leave with a good impression. So I
Yeah,
wanted to really leave a good impression, and they really took our solutions and implemented, and we learned a lot, but they actually gained a lot through our services. And we stayed there
sure.
for my first customer stayed there for more than 7 years, right? And
Wow.
in analytical space, that is not a very heard thing or a very common thing, because people make mistakes.
Hmm.
BI stuff, means you need innovation, constant innovation. But when we provide the solution, they really like that. We stayed with them, and I stayed with them as well. Means laid the good foundation.
Hmm.
But once we kind of took the journey, and now we are accelerating, I would say, right? In energy space, especially because we are Houston, right? Houston based, so energy comes natural to us. Now
Yes.
we have one of the biggest majors, as they call it, or strategic accounts, as they call it, right, in energy space. Top three customers. I would not name exactly who, but means we have one of those majors, right? And
Wow.
and that actually is kind of when we got them, of course, means it surprised me at that time, but now means now we have executed and people talk about us, right? I meet with, so we do a lot of work with big data platforms like Databricks and Microsoft Fabric, right? Azure Cloud. We do a lot of work with them. So when the folks there, they talk about what value we have provided to the customers through their platform, and they want to quote us, or they kind of talk highly of us, and they give us awards. Recently, we got the Partner of the Year award at Databricks and
Wow.
for APAC region, and it means that and innovation. Again, I'm so glad it came in the innovation area. That these are the highlights, right? Means you kind of say, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. I'm providing the right value to the customer, right? And those kind of things.
That's cool. Okay. All right. So you built this company, you get your first customer, then you get some more customers, and you get your first employee, and now you have 500.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how do you get from 2 to 500 and still keep company culture, values, all the stuff that you built the first few customers on? How do you keep that consistent in the organization?
Very, very good question, and that's been a learning exercise for me as well. It's like making the difference between, and we call it a startup, but when you are forming a company, right? And one of my mentors really spoke about that is, Amit, you're getting into this journey means you have to create different departments, right? You have to build processes. You have to do. So it sounded very heavy task at that time, right? And for sure it has been one of the toughest kind of thing,
Mm.
because I'm an engineer by background, right? So so a lot of those things like development techniques, methodology, implementation, deployment, all the software development life cycle, all of that comes fairly naturally to me, right? But the other areas like marketing, for example, I mean, I couldn't understand, though I'm an MBA, I got an MBA, put in a lot of effort in, and attended some marketing classes, but truly knowing what marketing means to a company, right? How do you implement digital marketing? How do you
Mm.
get all the Google analytics going? And I had, means on the way, I got a lot of help. So,
Sure.
meaning we hired the right people, we hired some of the entrepreneurs who really means the part we were talking about earlier is they reached out to me to say, "Hey, Amit, looks like you are building this company. I would like to join you." I'm like, "Wow!" People reached out, and we hired them, and they really put nice imprint, right? Marketing imprint. But I had to learn myself, and that was the
Mm,
tough part. And then actually ask the team to implement the right things. So putting the marketing, sales, other departments, right, and processes. And I figured that if we have to build a nice culture, right, all these tools are very, very important, because then we have to convey to folks like, this is how we are building the company, right?
mm,
So we go by the principle of three P's, right? The people, process, and product, right?
right.
And we are building everything around it to say we have the right, means we'll have the right people, we will have the right processes, we'll have the right products which we offer in combination to the customers. And it has worked well because people remember it. They were quoting me somewhere like, "Hey, we are abiding by these three P's." But most of it is about the quality. So I do tell folks that you don't know which customer you will serve and
Sure.
what code you will create. And at night, think about this when they are sitting by themselves where they don't have any help. They can't call a help desk. They can't, means do this, and they are trying to work on your system, right? Think about that it should not fail at that time to them, right? Because they're trying to get something done. And that should be the quality of the product. Think about, empathize with the customer, that they will be punching something and it should return good value to them at that point where they have no help, right? and
Yeah.
and and essentially you should build products which are so quality. So that's the culture I'm trying to pass on to folks, right? And I think people have responded well. We have, means some of these awards, means I have zero participation. I give it all to my employees, means, or my partners or the leaders who have put in their hard work and really come up with these innovative solutions, which have actually put us out there and put us on the map.
I like it. I like it. So tell me about one of the things that if you could go back and do it again, you would do different.
Very good question. Very good question. So I think you do make a lot of mistakes, right? Because this is my first time, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I think making mistakes is part of this entrepreneurial journey, right? Means you start something you don't know, and that's what excites us. If I knew exactly how to do it, I don't think that will motivate me. So yeah, I mean, if I know how to write a piece of code, if I have to write it again, I mean, that's not the kind of, we are not in that business. That's why we do projects, and every project is unique and new, and which excites us. So I've made tons of mistakes on the way, right? Um, any mistake which has cost us a big problem, probably not, right? So idea is to learn very fast from your mistakes, right?
Mm,
And I'm hopefully learning fast enough. I'm still a learner. I'm a quick learner, I would say, right? I would apply to this job again, right? If I was given this job, I'll do it all over again. Uh, I guess, means, so there are two things which come, and I do ask this question to folks, right? Because we are self financed company, right? So this
mm,
comes at a point where you scale up, right, fast enough. And I've asked many people around. There's no good answer to that. Is like, would you have taken investment earlier? Would you take investment now? Would you take in the future? Maybe I might think more like a finance person next time I run it.
yeah.
That's one thing which I'm still learning. I think those are some of the things which I would have overcome, or scaled up. But it's all about objectives. I think we have done fairly well, I would say, from the aspect, and we are growing, and we are growing. We have ambitions to grow. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything particular, but maybe on the finance and capital, investment side, I could have done a little different.
Yeah. It's a good answer. I the thing is, when you take other people's money, then you gotta answer to other people, right?
Yes, so that has been on our mind. It's not only about that. I think we would be open to answer because we are, like I say, people do say that you are your own boss. I'm like, I think I have many more bosses now because every customer is my boss, right? So,
Yeah.
I think answering somebody probably is okay, but I think what has been good has been that we have had good control, right, over what we wanted and how we wanted things to go.
Yeah.
Uh, our general thing was not about that profitability or means we are profitable, but not about that we got to hit these numbers in this amount of time, right? We really wanted to try out few things, build some things, and we have been able to do it. Some of the solutions, some of the SaaS solutions we have put out in the market,
Hmm.
and if you look at it, mm, some other folks who were coming in with a different perspective, they might not see it how we thought about it. So that,
Uh-huh.
I think that was primarily the reason to have that. Now that we have done few things and things are moving the way we wanted them to move, maybe now we are more open to new ideas.
Okay. Yeah. It's if you got a plan and you're working the plan, um, and you are being conservative because it forces you to be again to be that scrappy entrepreneur when you don't have anybody else's money to play with. It's all coming out of your pocket. So there is a
Very good.
when there's probably a
Yeah.
that you get from doing that versus seeking outside funding.
Yes, exactly right. So we are, yeah, we have been in that mode. We're still in that mode where we are like, and actually the traction we are receiving now, and I heard about certain companies who have spent 10 years out there, and because, I mean, success doesn't come overnight, right?
Yeah.
So I think we have truly played to that part, and I think we have really turned a corner with what we wanted to do. We took a good decade to kind of get here, but it's been good. It's been a great ride, and I think the future is really really good. Means in near and long term because yeah, means wherever we're going. So we are opening new offices now in Singapore and Qatar as we speak of. Right in next 15 days, we are growing globally, and there is a lot of attention we have right from global workforce of our partners Databricks and Microsoft, and these are huge companies with huge potential, and we are barely scratching the surface.
Mm.
So we definitely look forward to, and I'm very excited. I think this whole what we call as fiscal year 26, which just started, right? I'm very excited with that. AI is on a boom right now. Everybody gets it that, we have been trying to teach people about AI for last 2 or 3 years, and it's now hit the point where, yeah, we need AI as of yesterday, and lot more customers of mine who we helped. Oh, yeah, okay, good.
Can you,
Okay.
sorry, I think my internet in this office, something happened to it. Can you can you start the AI thing again? That's so
Yes.
funny. That's where I was going to go, but we'll just cut this part off. But just talk about AI and educating people over the last 2 or 3 years, et cetera, and then go from there.
Perfect. Yes, yes, yes. So, and the conversations we are having with the customers now, right? Everybody. So I got a call from one of my customers, and last year or last couple of years, we're helping them with some data projects, right? And they were really resisting and saying we are fairly small. Means maybe we don't need all of these data projects. And the call we received now was like, hey Amit, can I get some AI done? And I'm like, but you were not very sure about your data projects. No, no, no. My board is asking me, and we need to get on to this AI. So I think finally the customers are getting that means AI, the productivity which AI will bring to them, right, has to be addressed as of today or as of yesterday. And
Mhm.
we are having a lot of conversations where like some of my partners say it's not a footnote. AI is not a footnote anymore on the PowerPoint. It has become the main content, and that's
Mhm.
what we are talking to multiple customers and helping them with. Be it come, means be it Gen AI projects, be it truly AI projects, and we have multiple solutions around it. So I think we are very well positioned to help the customers. We are helping in energy industry, manufacturing industry, financial services industry, and there are multiple use cases where we can help with certain productivity gains and and cost effectiveness, right? So one customer we recently talked to, and it was very interesting because we are now going and talking to the business side, right? So in energy industry, for example, we going and talking to them. There's an oil and gas customer, and how they express that the business problem. And once you understand it, and you say, you know what, data and AI can truly help it, and in a year's time they could be saving $1 million, and
Wow.
it will be actually a more than $1 million, and they would spend 10% of it, and the ROI is just amazing, right? So
Yeah.
so having conversations like that is becoming more, means now we are able to have those conversations because customer is open to have, right, those they are more aware about it, they are more open to it. We also tell them about the governance and the security which we can put around the framework, so means the concerns they might have around the data is resolved. But once you are able to do it, people are ready to move forward with those projects. So I definitely see a sea change which is happening around us, and people are more, they are adopting and more open to talk about these projects and executing it. So that's where we play out. I think Bismetric, that the foundation we laid for that decade, is finally turning up very good because if customer is not ready for an AI project, which some of them are not, and when they start the conversation, then we say, you remember you did not do this data project, right, when we were talking about, and now you are. But that's where our accelerators, because Bizmetric has built these data accelerators or the project accelerators, which can get them there in few weeks instead of years. So
Hmm.
once we kind of put that into work, and that's our biggest selling point. Bring our accelerators in, have a very quality data, so you can do good AI. Your AI can only be done on good quality data. We were talking about it other day, right? Garbage in, garbage
Yeah.
out. So we
Yes.
help resolve that problem of very good quality data, be it your enterprise data, or be it your operational data coming from OT, sensor based data, right? And combine all this IT, OT, and that's where our forte kind of plays out, especially in energy sector.
That's awesome. So, advice for folks that want to implement AI. First of all, your data's got to be clean and accurate and great. That's one, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Rule number one, yes.
And then rule number two is, let me guess, is it figure out what you want it to do or figure out the outcome?
Yes, figure out the outcome, but more important than that, I think it's the business problem which business people are solving. So tell
Mm-hmm.
us about your business problem. And this customer, this user was in 2 meetings, they were able to tell us what exactly they're trying to solve. And we don't even mention the word AI in it because in the end, we're not trying to bring technology to solve problems. We are trying to solve business problems using technology,
Yeah,
right?
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
So what I tell my salespeople or anybody who is involved in the process is, all I will read is your first paragraph, which is about the business problem, because technology can change, right? But if
Uh,
your business problem is not solid, then I'm not moving forward with the project.
that's great. Yeah, figure out the problem to solve, and then we'll
Yes.
figure out the tools. And if AI is a tool, then that's the tool we
Yeah.
use. Something else,
Yeah.
something else.
Exactly. And that's where we come in, as we do assessment, we do advisory, right? And then we suggest a solution, because we want ourselves to be your trusted advisor in the end, the customers. And that's the way it'll move. Now, customers also expecting a lot these days, right? Because world is
Sure.
moving fast. And
Yep.
that's where the solutions and the accelerators which we bring in actually help them. So once we have assessed the problem, then we can say, you know what, you need this, right? but
Mm-hmm.
but let's not put things in front and to say, use my accelerator, get over here, then we'll figure out what all problems it can solve, right? Which had been very platformish way, right? Which how we were selling technology before.
Uh-huh.
Now, everybody I see around, right, our partners as well, the big partners, they are verticalizing, they're going more in the solution kind of mode because that's the world we are in. That's how much our customers are expecting from us. That it's not like, hey, what's your requirement, right? That you
Yeah.
should be ready once I've told you my requirement, my business problem, and you have given me the advice that you would have a solution which you can suggest the best, right? Which can play out for us. And
Yeah.
one example to that, if we have time, if I can quote something,
Good.
is so we are working with an energy company which wants to do something in health and safety. So they came to us and they said, "Hey, Amit, Miss, we want to have best health and safety environment in our rigs because we have this problem where people go without the proper equipment. And
Mm.
how can we detect it? How can we do this, right?" Now that's a true problem, and they do get a lot of violations. And how can we track it to do it? And we actually put a once we understood the problem, then through computer vision, which is an AI, right? You can use the cameras, which is available on the rigs, or we can suggest. But there are models, are AI models, which actually work, and the rigs are like they're sometimes disconnected, right? So what we call as edge solutions, which can work on the oil rigs, and they can detect, with certain cameras and our AI models, and they can tell the people over there that this is what is happening. Either you can prevent or you can predict, right?
Mm.
So both of these things is done through our solutions. So once they have presented a problem statement, I should be ready to back it up with a solution which can be scalable. So either you deploy it on one rig, or now we have planned to deploy it on 200 rigs, right? And then our solution should be scalable. So we are into that kind of. That's why I think the near future is really great for Bizmetric, because we are able to provide that kind of solutions which customers can trust.
I like it. Yeah, the idea of being predictive versus preventive too. Boy, I think you could get a lot more effectiveness out of prediction than out of prevention in some cases. Correct?
Yes, that's true. So yeah, prevention is one, but then the dynamics on that whole platform is changing so fast, right? That you will have
Mm-hmm.
to be able to tell a little bit ahead of time that this is a possibility, and these are my model is telling all of this. So there is a red alert coming, and then there is a person. So what we call as somebody as an operator or somebody watching that screen can tell this is recommended from the model and taking action. Or you can fully automate it if you would want. You have full trust on the model, then it can go and make changes, which is called the closed loop operation. That you can reduce the motor speed, you can reduce the temperature, increase the temperature, all that can be automated. But again, it's all on the comfort of what customers when they would like to do, right? So we
Right.
suggest all these possibilities, but like you said, yeah, preventive, predictive, full automation.
That's great. So, what? This is a question that I have discussions with people about. As much as you feel comfortable, what do you think are the threats from AI?
Yes, so of course everybody hears about it, and I also see it. I see some of the news coming out, right? Where the bots going rogue, right? Means they're asking, and they're saying that I'll not do it, kind of a thing. Means that kind of things are becoming more and more into the news. So my thing is, means that's why I always go with the mode of trust but verify when you are adopting AI, right? A lot of people, like we were talking to a customer, they said, "Can you do me a full, in another case, like full cash flow management kind of a system through a bot?" And they run their business like that, and I'm like, "Are you sure? Means should I include a screen where you can?" where you can review, right? What is
Mm.
happening. They're like, as an afterthought, yes. But they were kind of trying to fully automate. I'm like, this is the
Uh,
cash flow we're talking about. I would rather have you trust, and then very, means trust but verify, kind of a mode that where you have some checks and balances, right? Let
yeah.
mean, let the bot or AI bring you the productivity you want, but let it not completely, override the system, have control over it. But I do fear, means I have the same what you talk about, people are talking about, right? Let's not let it get out of hand. Let us be humans be in control and use the technology the way it's supposed to be used.
Yeah, yeah. Keep it in the walls. Keep it between the lines. Make sure there are lines drawn so it stays in check.
Yes, and that's why a lot of that responsible learning, responsible AI, right? Let a lot of that, the security, the frameworks around it, the governance, all these are very important. And I do trust that us internally helping the customers are help build that. There are more governance frameworks which are coming, right? Be it from the customer itself or be it from the government. So I think that's very important conversation to be had, or that framework to be provided, so that
Mm.
we don't let means the rogue element come in and take the fun out of the technology.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I do think there's a lot of opportunity for AI to really help us be more competitive, help us get more done, help us solve problems in the world that
Yeah.
we couldn't solve before. So if we can use it for good versus evil, I think we're going to get a lot done.
Yeah, and that's been our past, right? We have used, be it any kind of industrial revolution to now, right? Means we have been able to use technology. Now, there have been instances always, but I think humankind has always, good has always done better than how the bad things can be done, right? So, so I would still hope for that balance to kind of continue on that side, and things will be more towards humankind and use of technology rather than bad uses.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, let me just two more questions. Number one, what do you think is the biggest challenge coming up for maybe for your business, for business in general? What do you see down the road that could be a challenge?
So for us, I think the biggest challenge internally I know of is because we are now scaling and we are moving a little faster. So this is a new learning, right? We all have, right, internally, and we are reacting to it.
Yes.
So first time around some of these things, and that's what kind of keeps us, motivated in the business is new things. But that, means of course when some of those projections are coming, I always kind of look at the risk and the risk analysis, so we don't falter, we not in our excitement we kind of overcommit and
Mm.
not able to deliver, because that's my biggest thing is like when sales was not happening because we were not a based organization, right? We had few sales. Then our challenge was, can we put a sales organization together? Now we have put it together. I say, look at the delivery model because it has to
Mm.
match up to how fast we are moving. So we cannot truly commit to a customer that the project will be done and it goes in lower quality. That would be a failure in my mind.
Yeah.
So I think kind of projecting across the board, so we are doing well balanced growth. uh, but that's my next challenge, right? And we are talking about different offices in different part of the globe. How do we kind of truly do that with good success? Some of these things are known. I would say that I would admit to it, Warren, that but these are good challenges to have, and hopefully
Yeah.
we'll be doing it right. So yeah, that's something I know of internally. Outside challenges or macro economic factors are always there, right? World is changing fast, right? Uh,
Yes.
but I kind of we're still not so big that we are governed by that, right? We are more. I think our challenges are more internal and ability for us to kind of go there. So I think our internal, what we are doing internally might affect us more than anything macro. That's how I understand it today.
Yeah.
And hopefully, but it's been good. Means, I think the space we are in, the motivation we get, the the whole ecosystem is trying to kind of expand. It's very exciting to see where the world is moving. So if anything, I'll just double down on it.
I love it. I love it. Well, that optimism and willingness to take some risk is what's part of what's made you successful thus far. So,
Oh yeah, means I do have some calculated risks I like to take, but I think it's that element which keeps us going, and which keeps on motivating us. I think this is the time for that growth factor which every company dreams of, right? And we are in that phase, so I will not hold it back.
I love it. I love it. Okay, one last question. Uh, any other piece of advice you'd give anybody that's thinking, considering starting their business or scaling up their business? Any other advice that you can give based on your advice and success?
Absolutely. I would say one thing, if anybody is thinking of starting and have an idea, please start it today. Don't waste another minute. There is always pivoting, as people call it. Means the biggest thing is to take the step. I took 3 years to start, and I still repented because it's all fun. Means it's all good. And uh, I think about the worst case scenario. Means always like hey, if this didn't happen, what would happen, right? But
Mhm.
but means let's not be in that loop of thinking. I would say entrepreneurship is the best thing which can happen to anybody who is thinking and can take that risk. Please step out today, do it. If you're thinking about it, do it today.
That's awesome advice. I love it. And from somebody that wanted to be a businessman from the time they were young and to your now great success, you've actually achieved it. And I also have to add, because I just think it's so palpable with you, is that attitude of gratitude. Keep smiling, keep looking at things as opportunities and fun instead of looking at them as challenges, and that gets you a long ways down the road.
Oh, wonderful. I completely agree with that. Means there's a lot of things to be, showing gratitude about, right? Means you're any of it, or all of it starts to come true, right? It's not because of me. It's because of all the people around me, my partners, my leaders, my people who showed faith from the very beginning, or the new interns who have come in. We still means that everybody has shown all that faith. I feel good amount of gratitude to all of them, and that's how we need to be, right? When new people are starting with the journey, it's all about that humbleness and gratitude, and world will give you back what you deserve. And then step out and take all the challenges. There's a lot which is happening, more than ever, opportunities out there.
Yeah,
So much IP to build. And when people talk about single people company which can be $1 billion company. You never know. Means your next idea could be the best new idea out there. Take that
that's
step.
right. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. Well, thank you so much. I mean, it was truly a pleasure, and I'm just thankful to get to spend time with you today. And thanks for all your advice and wisdom.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I really love talking to you. So easy to, means kind of present my ideas.
Yes,
And look forward to talking to you again. Thank you.
for sure.